Amaka adjusted her tight skirt one last time, stared at her trembling reflection in the mirror, and whispered to herself, "Just smile, agree, and get that transfer letter." She wasn't going for an interview. She was going to room 406, the hotel suite her branch manager had booked the night before. He had one condition before approving her promotion to senior account officer: come alone and don't ask questions. She was top of her team. Her KPIs were clean. Yet others, less qualified, less experienced, were already moving up. She thought it was just favoritism until she discovered a hidden group chat among the female staff, titled Room Service Diaries. What Amaka found inside that chat, and what she did next, will leave you in shock. Because sometimes, climbing the corporate ladder isn't about hard work, it's about what you're willing to lose.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Folktales by Chisom, where real life events and African stories come to life. So today's story is inspired by corporate world, what women go through just to get promoted. So sit back, relax, and see what they do to earn their position.
Amaka adjusted her tight pencil skirt for the third time, her fingers trembling as she tried to smooth the creases that weren't even there. The small mirror in her modest flat reflected a woman who looked nothing like the confident banker her clients saw at work. Tonight, she was different, not because of her silky blouse or carefully packed hair, but because of what she was about to do. She stared at her reflection, eyes welling but refusing to let the tears fall. Her voice came out as a whisper, shaky and uncertain. "Just smile, agree, and get that transfer letter." She wasn't going for a job interview. This wasn't a dinner date. This wasn't training or a team event. This was room 406, a hotel suite booked and paid for by Mr. Dyke, the branch manager of Unity Standard Bank, Garki Branch, Abuja. He was her superior, her boss, the man who had the final say on promotions, the man who told her just 2 days ago in his office, "You know you're the most qualified on paper. But Amaka, banking is more than targets. It's about loyalty. If you want to grow in the system, sometimes you must play the game." That game had a location and a time. Room 406, 9 p.m. sharp. "Come alone and don't ask questions," he'd said. She looked down at her phone. The screen lit up with a message from her best friend, Ada. "Babes, please don't go. You're better than this. They'll use you and throw you away." Amaka hesitated. But then another message followed, this time from HR. "Hi Amaka, just to confirm, your current promotion status is pending final approval by Mr. Dyke. Should be signed off tomorrow morning." That was it. The final nail. She took one deep breath, grabbed her purse, and headed out into the humid Abuja night. The ride to Tranquil Suites Hotel was quiet. She sat at the back of the Uber, like she was on her way to a funeral. Her funeral. Every turn the driver took felt like her life choices tightening around her. She replayed every long night at the office, every extra report she submitted, every weekend spent following up on corporate accounts while others partied. She earned this promotion, deserved it. But the bank didn't care about that. At least, not for women like her, who had no godfather, no connections, and no rich uncle in the system. She had herself. And right now, herself wasn't enough. 9:02 p.m., Tranquil Suites, room 406. The hallway was dimly lit and smelled like cheap cologne and silence. Her heels clicked softly on the tiled floor as she approached the door. She raised her hand and knocked twice. No answer. She knocked again, harder this time. The door opened slowly. There he stood, Mr. Dyke, wearing a white undershirt and holding a glass of something brown. He smiled. "You came," he said softly. Amaka nodded, unable to speak. He stepped aside. "Come in." The room was large. Too large. A king-sized bed sat at the center, like a throne waiting for a queen to either rise or fall. A bottle of wine stood on the table, 2 glasses already set. Soft music played from the TV. She stood awkwardly near the door, clutching her purse, looking at the floor. "Relax," Dyke said, walking toward her. "No need to be shy. You're a beautiful woman. Smart. Strong. You deserve more than the bank is giving you." He poured her a drink. She didn't take it. Let's talk first, she whispered. We'll talk, he replied, stepping closer. But I want to be clear, Amaka, if you walk out now, there's no second chance. I'll say you decline the promotion. But if you stay, I promise you, next Monday, you'll be sitting in a senior officer's office with your name on the door. That was the deal. Her name on the door. Or her dignity out the window. She stood still. Her phone buzzed again. Ada, I know you're there. Please don't go through with it. 2 months earlier. Think of your worth. The office lights flickered as Amaka typed furiously on her keyboard. But the message came finalizing too late. Yet another loan Amaka reached for the wine. It was 8:47 and sat on the edge of the bed. The cleaners she had already mopping around her desk. Everyone else about her life hours ago would remain the same again. Except Amaka. That had always been her story. Arrive first, leave last. Break records. Beat targets. Close difficult clients. Smile through stress. And still, no promotion. She glanced at the glass door of the manager's office. Mr. Dyke's light was off, but she could still see the faint shadow of his favorite mug on his table, boss mode. Her phone buzzed. Ada, voice note girl, how far? Promotion list on Kamado. Guess who got moved up? Chioma again. That babe not jazz or weddin'. Amaka froze. Chioma? Again? She leaned back in her chair, heart sinking. Chioma was nice, flashy, flirty, and always hanging around the senior staff's cars. But Amaka had higher numbers. Way higher. She even trained Chioma during onboarding. Still, Chioma got the bump. Again. Amaka walked into the HR office the next morning with a fake smile. Good morning, Ma. The HR officer, an older woman who rarely looked up from her files, responded without warmth. Yes, Amaka? I just wanted to ask about the promotion round. I saw the memo. The woman sighed. You're not on the list. Management said they'll review again next quarter. But I hit my KPI. We know, but these things are not only about KPIs. Amaka stood still. Then what is it about? The HR officer looked up slowly, eyes careful. Talk to Mr. Dyke. He might explain better. And that was the first time she heard the unspoken rule. The same rule that made girls like Chioma rise faster. That made Ada stay stuck for 3 years. That turned a bank job into something else entirely. A place where qualifications mattered, but connections and cooperation matter more. Amaka returned to her desk in silence. As she sat, she noticed 2 female staff giggling near the corridor. One whispered, then showed something on her phone. Amaka caught just 3 words. Room 406 again? They laughed and disappeared down the hallway. That night, Amaka didn't stay back to finish her report. She went home early for the first time in weeks, but she didn't sleep. She was starting to see the ceiling. And it wasn't made of glass. It was built with silence, secrets, and unspoken debts. The following week, Amaka paid closer attention. Not to account balances or loan approvals, but to faces, side glances, body language. Whispers in the hallway that used to seem harmless now rang louder. She noticed how certain ladies, always well-dressed, always laughing around Mr. Dyke, seemed to float through tasks. They were never stressed, never left behind. Yet they were rising fast. And then there were others like her. Quiet, efficient, overlooked. Amaka's curiosity piqued one Thursday afternoon when she overheard a conversation in the staff kitchen. She had stepped in to refill her water bottle but paused just before entering. It was Chioma and Debbie, the 2 fastest rising female staff. So you've not opened the group in 2 days? Madam, you'll miss your next lotto. I beg, I'm just tired. I need small rest before I enter room 406 again this weekend. Debbie, laughing, no dull yourself. Promotion no day for free. They both laughed and walked out, not noticing Amaka by the door. Her fingers clenched around the bottle. Room 406 again. That was the second time she was hearing it. But now it wasn't just a room, it was a pattern. Later that evening, Amaka searched her office system for anything that might give her answers. She tried typing room 406 into the internal messenger. Nothing. Then she checked the staff communication server. Still nothing. But her instincts told her this wasn't something digital. It was off the record. Off the grid. That night, she texted Ada. Ada, have you ever heard of something called room 406? Flushed face babes, where did you hear that? Answer me. It's real. But you're not supposed to talk about it. It's the game. That's how they promote the girls. Is it a group or what? There's a private WhatsApp group. Invite only. Some female staff from all over the country are in it. The name always changes, but the girls call it Room Service Diaries. Amaka's stomach turned. Room Service Diaries. This was deeper than favoritism. It was organized, structured, silent, and dangerous. She didn't sleep that night. Not because she was scared, but because she was now part of it. Not the group. Not yet. But the knowledge. And knowledge in the wrong place can shake a system. It was a quiet Tuesday morning when Mr. Dyke called Amaka into his office. His tone was unusually warm. His eyes lingered longer than usual. Amaka, he said, motioning to the chair across from him. Close the door, please. She obeyed. He didn't start with pleasantries. No. How's your weekend? Or any updates on the SME loan file? Just a question. You want to grow here, don't you? Amaka hesitated, then nodded. Of course, sir. I've worked hard for it. He smiled. I know you have. I see it. Your figures are clean. Your clients speak well of you. Your reports are sharp. She waited. There was a but coming. But he leaned in. This system is not about numbers alone. It's about people, relationships, loyalty. He opened a drawer and pulled out a brown envelope. Inside is your promotion letter. Senior banking officer. Comes with a raise. Better office. Corporate card. Amaka's heart jumped, but her face stayed calm. Thank you, sir. You can have it by Friday. He placed the envelope back inside the drawer. But before then, let's have dinner. Somewhere quiet. Just us. Say, Thursday night. Silence filled the room like smoke. Amaka stared at him. Dinner? Yes, he said, casual. Not everything has to be formal, Amaka. Sometimes, conversations outside these walls can open real doors. He slid a business card across the desk. A hotel address. Tranquil Suites. Room number handwritten at the back. Room 406. Thursday, he said again. 9 p.m. Come alone. Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. She stood up slowly, forcing a polite smile. I'll think about it, sir. Do that, he said. But think fast. These letters don't stay available forever. Back at her desk, Amaka couldn't concentrate. Her screen blurred with spreadsheets she could no longer care about. That night, she cried. Not out of weakness. Out of rage. She had played by the rules. Done everything right. Now she had to choose. Say no and stay stuck. Or say yes and lose a part of herself. But deep down, a choice had already been made. Thursday came too fast. By 8:15 p.m., Amaka sat at the edge of her bed, fully dressed, not in confidence, but in conflict. Her blouse hugged her chest tighter than usual. Her skirt, the black one with the side slit, looked professional but not too professional. Her phone buzzed. Ada. Amaka, please don't go. You're worth more than this. Crying face, you don't need him to succeed. She stared at the message, then looked at another one. HR officer. Your promotion documents are still pending Dyke's final sign-off. Should be ready by Friday. Congratulations in advance. 2 different futures. One night. She stood, grabbed her purse, and called an Uber. The hotel was quiet. Too quiet. Tranquil Suites had that fake luxury feel, clean towels, scented corridors, cheap wine in fancy bottles. The kind of place where decisions were made and dignity was quietly traded. Room 406 was at the far end of the corridor. Her heels echoed with every step. 9:01 p.m. She knocked twice. The door opened slowly. Mr. Dyke, in a white undershirt and dark trousers, smiled as if he had just been expecting a friend, not an employee. You came, he said. Amaka stepped in without a word. The room was dimly lit. A bottle of red wine sat on the table. 2 glasses already waiting. Soft jazz music whispered from the TV. She stood by the door, stiff. "Relax," he said. "I'm not a monster. Let's talk." He poured wine, handed her a glass. She didn't take it. "Sir, let's be clear. I'm not here for games." He raised his brow, then chuckled softly. "Of course not. You're here because you're serious about your future." He pulled out the envelope, the same one from his desk. "Your promotion letter. Signed, sealed. All I need is one last thing." He stepped closer. "Loyalty." She looked at the envelope, then at the bed. The air thickened. She grabbed the glass, took one sip, then sat on the edge of the mattress. She hated herself for sitting, but she had already crossed the door. What happened that night wasn't rough. It wasn't violent, but it broke something inside her. Because it wasn't about attraction or even lust. It was about power. And she had surrendered, not out of desire, but out of desperation. The next morning, Amaka returned home, stared at herself in the bathroom mirror, and whispered, "Senior banking officer." She repeated it, again and again, as if it could wash off what she did to earn it. Monday morning came with fanfare. Amaka stepped into the bank lobby in a new outfit, tailored perfectly. Her ID card now read, "Senior banking officer." A congratulatory email had gone out from HR at 7 a.m. Promotion well-deserved. Long overdue, congrats. SLAY Amaka. But behind every smile she received, she saw something else. Pity, envy, judgment. Some clapped. Others avoided eye contact. The female staff who used to joke with her barely said hello. One even muttered as she walked by, "Welcome to the club." Her new office was neat and air-conditioned. A bit bigger. A new chair. A corporate card sat in a small envelope on her desk. But none of it felt good. She couldn't stop thinking about room 406. And the worst part? She had no one to talk to. Not even Ada, who'd sent a long voice note begging her to speak up or quit. "Amaka, this system is sick. If we don't break it, who will?" But Amaka couldn't break anything. Not yet. She was inside the system now, feeding off it, until someone slid an envelope under her office door. A plain white one. No name. Inside was a USB flash drive. A note was attached. "You're not the only one. Before you go higher, you need to see this." Her hands shook. She closed the blinds, inserted the USB into her desktop computer, and clicked. It opened a folder titled Room Service Diaries. Screenshots. Videos. Voice notes. Names. Faces. Chat logs. Women from branches all over the country, sharing experiences, schedules, tips on pleasing managers, warnings about those who recorded, and pictures of hotel bookings. Some of the voices cracked from tears. Some laughed. One even confessed she got her car as a thank you for one weekend. It was no longer a theory. It was an entire underground network, protected by silence and fueled by fear. Amaka leaned back in her chair. And for the first time since room 406, she wasn't scared. She was angry. For the next 3 nights, Amaka couldn't sleep. She locked her door, unplugged her TV, and sat in silence, scrolling through the evidence on that flash drive. It was horrifying. Dozens of women. Some she recognized. Others she didn't. All from different branches, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Kano. Different banks, different faces, same story. He said if I said no, I'd be transferred to a dead branch. I lost my job because I recorded him. HR covered it up. We call it room service because you don't get promoted without checking in. And there it was. A hidden WhatsApp group, renamed every few weeks. Right now, it was called High Flyers Connect. The admin? A senior executive based at the head office in Lagos. Amaka saved everything. Backed it up twice. One on a secure drive, one on a Gmail draft with a fake account. This wasn't just a toxic manager problem. This was systemic abuse disguised as opportunity. By Friday, Amaka was done being quiet. She printed out key documents, selected 4 screenshots, a chat log between Chioma and a manager, A photo from Tranquil Suites lobby. A voice note titled, "He warned me not to speak." She walked into HR like a woman on a mission. "I need to see the director," she said. "Urgently." The HR officer hesitated. "Is it about your new role?" "It's about what I had to do to get it." That changed everything. In less than 10 minutes, she was seated before Mr. Okoye, the bank's regional HR director. He listened quietly, read through the printed evidence, played the voice note, leaned back in his chair. "This is serious," he finally said. "It's criminal," Amaka replied. "And it's been going on under your nose." He tapped his pen on the table. "If you're wrong, you'll destroy careers, yours included." Amaka reached into her bag and placed the flash drive on the table. "Then let's destroy it all. But I won't be quiet anymore." There was a long silence. Then Mr. Okoye sighed. "Leave this with me." And Amaka. He looked her dead in the eye. "Prepare for war." 2 weeks passed. The office felt colder, quieter. Rumors had started to spread that some managers were being investigated, that someone had reported upstairs, that room 406 girls were in panic mode. Mr. Dyke hadn't been seen in days. Some said he was transferred. Others said he was on leave. But Amaka? She was still coming to work, still doing her job. Except this time, people watched her differently, not with pity, but with respect or maybe fear. Then one morning, just before the branch opened for the day, she got a call. "Meet me in the boardroom. Now." It was Mr. Okoye. Amaka walked in, clutching her purse like armor. 3 senior HR officers were seated. A notepad, a recorder, a laptop. This was no chat. This was a formal hearing. "You're not on trial," Okoye began. "But we need your voice on record. We've started internal investigations. 3 managers have been suspended. 1 has resigned." He leaned forward. "This goes all the way up, even to head office." Amaka's hands were cold, but she nodded. "I'm ready." For the next hour, she told her story. From the KPIs, to the missed promotions, to the night in room 406. She gave names, dates, chat logs. Everything. They listened, took notes. No one interrupted. When she finished, Mr. Okoye stood up and walked to the window. "You've started something huge, Amaka. If this breaks to the press." "It should," she said. "It might destroy careers. Even the bank's reputation." She looked him in the eye. "Then let it. Maybe we can rebuild it with dignity this time." Outside the room, the branch buzzed as usual. Customers came and went. Loans were processed. Files moved. But something had changed. A seed had been planted. The silence had been cracked. And Amaka was no longer just a staff member. She was a threat to the system, or the start of a revolution. Time would tell. But as she walked past the same hallway where she once overheard room 406 jokes, someone whispered again, "That's the one who exposed it." And for the first time, Amaka smiled. Moral of the story: power and promotion should never come at the cost of dignity. Silence allows exploitation to thrive, but courage can spark change. A system built on fear and secrecy will eventually collapse under truth. Real success is earned through merit, not manipulation.